this is an experiment to see if I can do the overhead demo that I see a lot of artists doing. So I've set my iPhone up on top of me, and what I'm trying to accomplish are flowers with interesting patterns behind them. So I'm going to show you how I'm starting. I'm starting in two ways. I started with, there are some right now I'm doing just these different patterns, some that, and I'm going to build up, and then I'll draw the flower on top of it. There were some that I started where I just did a plain background, and now I'm starting to play around. And then I'll put pattern on top of that. So let me demonstrate. Here's a few others that I've done. Let me demonstrate how I'm going about this. I'll do one for you. Let me find a blank. Here we go. And so I have these different vinyl patterns, and I'm starting with them, and then I'll do my free drawing and free painting on top of it. So I'm using this stipple brush. I don't want too much paint. I'm holding the stencil down onto my paper and trying not to move the stencil so that I can get a lot of paint on there. I'm going to put some other colors. I'm just mixing it right on my brush at this stage and letting it do its thing with mixing, because I don't really care, because I'm going to be layering it with a lot of different colors after. So let me get some color down here and remove the stencil so you can see for my first layer here what I am doing. Okay, here we go. And so that is nice for a first layer. I'm going to let it dry, and then after I'm going to paint another one. So here's one I did with just polka dots. And now let me put that other stencil back on here. And let me use some other colors. So there's like a rust color down. I'm going to try this. Maybe not everywhere. Maybe just a few places. Now I've gone into a yellow. And there was green on my brush. So we're going to get a different feeling. So there we go. It's not as clean, but that's okay for what I'm doing. I'm just playing with getting patterns down. Now, once I have some of that done, I want to take some of these and I want to see what happens when I paint over it. Maybe a wash. Let's see what happens if I paint over with some yellow. I mean, I just don't know. And I am truly experimenting with all this. So here is with colors straight down. Now this is acrylic, so it's not going to change once I put a color on top of it. It's not like watercolor that'll smear when you get it wet. I do want some of the color revealed from what I did before. So the yellow will stay in a little bit of the paper. I can do a few things. I can wipe it, and I learned this from Nick Wilton. If you take a paper roll, you can pick up some paint by just going over it with that. And then sometimes on certain surfaces, once you have it built up, it'll leave also a nice little texture. So there you have it for doing some additional color. Now I may just see what happens if I just play around. Let's see, let me do this. See what happens. I love my turquoise blue and pink these days. They seem to be my colors. So let me just mess around with some of that. Let me get some pink on there. I will have to change my brush because that brush, the greens will really change up the pinks. Now, this is a little wet, so there's probably some blending with the yellow. And I'm trying to see, sometimes I love scratching into my surface. So there's some of that. And just really experimenting, messing around. And then I'll draw flowers on top of it. I may have to subdue this background that much more. Oh, look at that, that's fun to see the background coming through. And I love to do this in my large paintings to reveal, as some say, the history of the canvas or the painting, what came before. Okay, there you have it. I think I'm going to stop here, and I'll do a series of where these go in future videos.